Hey guys, what's up? It's Schlaw coming back to ya with another episode of Car Rides Wit Schlaw, and it's actually my first Car Rides Wit Schlaw of the day because sadly this morning's Car Ride Wit Schlaw was cut short, or it was cut not at all because I woke up the latest I think I have in a very long time. And so I decided in a brief moment of, like a rushed decision making to just skip my eating my breakfast at my house and instead just basically woke up, got my food, ate some of it, got changed, and then just went straight out to the car and ended up eating the rest of my food on my car ride to work and did not record the car rides with Schla. Now, I technically could have, and I guess you can argue should have, but I just decided that it would be for the best to not do that. I don't know. That was my judgment call. In retrospect, probably could have done that. I mean, I don't really see why it would have been that big of a deal. It just would have been chewing at certain points, but just a little bit tricky, and I've never done that before, so maybe in the future I will, but for the time being it's like, I don't know. For the time being, that's what I did. And I think there were multiple factors in that decision. I mean, yeah, there's definitely multiple factors in the decision. I've been very overwhelmed for a long time. So I wanted to just take things easy and listen to some really loud music, good stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's why that is the second Car Rides Wit Schlaw I've ever missed. The first one I ever missed was when, I think might have been just last Thursday. Might have been last Wednesday, actually. So yeah, kind of a weird trajectory we've been on, but that is how the cookie is crumbling. So what can I do? What can I do? Now, anyways, I don't really have too much to talk about, though. I know I say it's such a silly thing. I say that all the time, but I just feel like relaxing. I honestly need some downtime. I really need to have like space to just chill. That's kind of the bottom line of it. It's been like a lot. I think I've recorded it. There's the proof. It's just been like a lot recently. I mean, it's been pretty productive. It's been a pretty productive time. I've come up with a lot of different things, and it's been good. It's been a good run of it for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's like I do think I'm overdoing it. I'm overdoing it mentally, and it's not necessarily the show. It's also, I guess, just the whole overtime thing and stuff. I mean, the only reason why I was able to do the overtime that I did do is because I'm pretty sure I was in a manic episode. But either way, it's like when you start doing something like that, like working an excessive amount of hours, it just wears on you more and more as time goes on. So, like, when I first did it, months ago, because it has been that long at this point. Like, I've been working pretty excessive hours since, well, really like all year, kind of. I've been doing extra hours, but I really ramped it up, I think, around March. So, yeah, it's been a long time. It's probably been like 3/4 of a year that I've been working like really excessive hours. And I just think that it's not really excessive, honestly. It's not really excessive. I think there's like more, um, there's more, there's people who work like more or work harder than me or whatever. Like, it's not all out of the question. Um, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, I think it's been a lot for me, because this is only, I mean, I hadn't even been working for very long when I started. So you have to remember, it was a huge adjustment. I mean, I was somebody who I was and I am pretty babied, I think. My job, it's a pretty good fit for me, and I think it's easier than a lot of people's. The pay isn't high, but I'm not really, like, how am I going to be complaining? I have a job that I ultimately can say that I like. It's just, I'm not going to be able to live off it, but I think not everybody says that. Most people, I don't know. I don't think they can really say that for themselves, so I am grateful for that. I'm very grateful for what I have, but it's still a lot of hours, and you have to remember, I'm used to zero responsibility. Like, there's a lot of people where they're used to having to do things. Given my, I guess, like, genetics and just body, as in addition to life situation, I probably have had the most free time and alone time of like anybody I've ever met. I think that's very possible, and that's obviously nice. It sounds nice on the surface, but it has its downsides too. Like, I definitely went through a lot of struggle with that, especially because I'm actually like a fairly interactive person, and I wouldn't even mind somebody bothering me a little bit. Like, I'm not really like a loner. So it kind of hasn't been the greatest thing for me, but I'm not going to say that I don't appreciate it, because obviously I do. Like, I think it's great that I had that hand of cards. But I'm just saying, for me personally, it wasn't necessarily the best. It wasn't necessarily the best fit for me, but I think it's a part. These things, I mean, they end up shaping who you become. And so obviously I'm a very different person because of what I've went through. And if I hadn't had gone through those experiences or events, then I would be a very different person right now. So I don't know, I guess that's just how I see it personally. I don't know if that's, coping or truth or what it is, but that's typically how I believe things to be. So it's pretty much the gist of it. I'm kind of losing my train of thought for some reason. But yeah, so I'm grateful, and I know that I'm baby. I've been babied in my life. So for me, like, working a minimum of 45 hours since like probably February. I mean, it's been a lot for me. Now, for some people, maybe that's not really such a big deal. But to me, it sets in. And it's not just work. It's, things in my personal life, too. It's not like, I don't know. If my personal life was different, maybe I wouldn't really be too fazed by it right now. But there could be other stresses or anxiety if my personal situation was different, so you never really know. You know what I mean? Like, you never know with these things. But yeah, I guess, I don't know. And so I'm saying, as much as I always love the deep talks, I have to try to figure out a way to enjoy life a little bit more as well, because something is just, I just think it's not fair. It's not really fair that other people basically aren't even aware of anything and they get to like have fun, or the things they get upset about are pretty shallow in the grand scheme of things. And it's not fair that I have all this like craziness going on and then other people just scroll TikTok all the time and don't even care about making the world a better place, don't even care about other people, and just like, they just go about their business. And it's not necessarily judging other people, it's just I'm incarnate in this reality, and that's the nature of this reality. The nature of this reality is a negligent reality that is messy, it's sloppy, and we have a chance for technology to come in and instill some kind of a sense of order, which is really what I'm optimistic for. But, so I don't know what to do. Now, I don't have to come in for as much hours as I am, but I get very stressed about money, so it's just what happens, right? Like, it's just, I want to feel safe, and really with the amount of hours I'm doing now, I feel like I'm really cracking the bare minimum, so I am happy with the amount I'm getting paid. And but it's only given the hours. Like, the amount I make an hour is not very high, but since I work extra hours, it's like, since I don't have to pay rent, I think it works for now. But I would actually be doing more hours, honestly, if they let me, but they had struck me down a while ago, so that's kind of, it's a shame, but that's typical company stuff. So that's kind of setting in. I need to do a lot of stuff. I need to organize my room. I need to clean my room. I'm not doing it. I feel like any free chance I get, I just have to relax. Like, I don't even have any energy to be doing anything else. I guess I've definitely been kind of in a depressive side of a manic episode now. So I've been hoping that like we hit the floor with that, but I don't think we have. Like, I think today and this morning and this weekend was like the worst, or like the lower part of just the feeling overwhelmed, feeling, so it's not great. It's really not a great situation. I really hope we've bottomed out at this point and it can start to turn back up a little bit, because it's getting pretty difficult to function, I really, this morning, losing that morning car rides with Schlaw, not waking up early enough to eat. To a normal person, they think, well, what are you even complaining about? I mean, you still got to work on time. And they're probably thinking, I know a lot of people where they struggle to wake up basically every day, whereas I had like a streak of multiple months where I was able to always wake up on time. And even though I've been cutting it close recently, I still wake up and like on time. This was like the first day you could consider I was late. However, I did, even though I woke up 15 minutes late, I arrived to work completely on time. So yeah, I know. I guess my standards about time are excessively high. So that's why, like, some people listening to this could be like, dude, you're fine, like, you're literally, but I don't know, it's just been difficult for me to relax recently, and I have to, like, figure out, a way to get into meditation or something, but my brain is in this loop where it's always trying to optimize. So it's difficult to relax because every single free chance I get, it tries to optimize the time. And it's an amazing trait, but like I'm happy for myself to have this, but it's very taxing on a human nervous system. That's the problem. It's like a superpower, but I have not harnessed it well. I don't really think I've harnessed it well my entire life. It's becoming stronger at this point. It's sort of like some kind of OCD, but it really is like it's like an executive function superpower that becomes debilitating because the human brain just isn't meant for that level of, like, time management, time awareness, time over fixation. Like, it's extremely draining. All the little, like, things I do with maintaining my phone batteries as close to 50% as possible, it's all good. It's all, like, perfection, but it's draining. And so my New Year's resolution and my intention for 2026 really is a year of rest. It's a year of, you've optimized, you've set up these systems, you've set up your routine. There's no more, like, researching that needs to be done, really, which isn't entirely true. Of course, I'm always going to be thinking of questions and researching things, so it is what it is. That's just how it plays out, but that's what I think I'm trying to do with 2026. I've said it for a while that I want to be more spiritual. I think that's a very important thing, and I just still have not really been able to get there. I've still been more secular. So I have not been able to really get more spiritual like I've wanted to. I've still kind of been in this just fairly, again, secular mindset about things. So it is what it is, but I'm looking for freedom and can't really find it. But I'd like to, and I hope to someday. It's really, that is the goal. I've wanted to do this months ago. It's actually interesting. I guess I could revisit some of the other car rides with Schlaws and just see the progression, It's been a crazy year. It's been the crazy year. That's for sure. So, just trying to hang in there. The year's almost over, so it's like whatever craziness I have dealt with is we don't really know how much longer it will be. It's going to be a new year with new energy pretty soon. Energy of reflection and rest is really the name of the game. Just what I feel is most needed for me at this point. So that's the thing. As much as I love my show, well, I don't know why I said it like that. My show, the way I do it, it has it's just taxing. Everything is like very taxing, and obviously my bandwidth is extremely high, but it's still like when I first did Car Rides Wit Schlaw, some of the episodes were humorous. They were nonsensical in nature. And I don't know what force is preventing me from getting there. But I've been in this just like very mellow, serious mood. It's not like I'm resisting anything. Maybe it's more subconscious, but like I want to record something where I really have my moment, if that makes sense. Like I really want to be saying things on here that are groundbreaking and that are really going to mean something. And so I guess the comical side of me is not, it's just not coming out. But I'm consciously, as far as I know, like I'm saying that's fine. I don't need that to be the case. I am okay with having like a funnier episode, for example, something like that. So I think it all really depends, and it's all kinds of stuff like that. But it all depends. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I don't know. I'm like thinking about other things. Oh yeah, it's just I don't know, and so I don't know why, but I've been like this, and it wasn't like it in the beginning. In the beginning, I definitely thought it was going to be more of a hybrid show where, yeah, some episodes were like this, some were like that, but that's just not been the vibe right now. So I guess I'm just, for now, it's like a growth thing. I'm using the show to organize a lot of my thoughts, try to learn more of the counterarguments and things like that to a lot of the systems I want to build and architect. I think, again, something I've always railed on is just how broken things are, and I'm very good at detecting where things are messed up or not right. But the main message is, can I actually come up with a clear, ideal system? Because I'm coming up with a potential system. I think a lot of the ideas I've talked about are potentially pretty great, but they are also very ambitious, and nothing has really been clearly articulated or figured out. And when I say the things to GPT points out potential caveats. So there's more work that needs to be done. And I think I'll continue to point out and kind of dismantle what's wrong with things and potential fixes, but that's definitely another thing I could do for moving forward, is like actually trying to articulate things a little more so, get to things a little bit better. I think that would be a good idea, because I haven't been the best at doing that, and I think a lot of my ideas it's like way too ambitious, way too ambitious, and there's a lot of problems and conundrums that we have to solve, and we're not really getting there. So I think, we just have to figure that out, really. But I'm trying my best, I'm trying my best to do that. I'm hopeful, but, But yeah, that's the main thing. I just think it's so hard for me to relax. I think it's hard for a lot of people to relax nowadays. I don't think I'm the only one who's feeling like that right now. So, I'm not alone, but I think it's a shame I can't really get a grip on it, or I can't put my finger on it. But I think it's the way technology is now, and how my brain I think about other people so much. I probably shouldn't, and it's always trying to do whatever it can to optimize my life, because again, like, it kind of what I started with, this envy that shows itself. Like, I'm not envious of much, but I really don't like the wealth distribution. There's like a lot of people that have wealth I just think totally shouldn't. There's a lot of people I think should have wealth who are broke, and it really bothers me, and I think I'm like very envious of that. And then, further downstream, it's people's lifestyles. I mean, some people's brains just have easier lives than others. Now, mine's relatively easy, but there are still people who have easier lives than me who likely don't do much with it. Now, granted, I didn't really do as much as I would have liked to. Like, I always am upset about why I didn't record more. Like I said, there was some mental blockage against, I just didn't want to make public content for some reason. I hated the thought, and I wanted to have meaningful, private, real connections. I didn't like the nature of social media, the nature of YouTube. And I still do think it's flawed in nature, but I guess you just have to do what you gotta do. Like, I think I'm meant to be doing this, so I'm just gonna do it. But I still don't. It's not my opinion either. I know it's not moral what's going on. It's not like, I know for certain it's not my opinion. I know that the problems that come with social media are not worth any potential benefits that they have brought. Like, they're just not. I know that's true. I know it's the case. There's no argument. It creates like such a severe inequality, and a lot of times it's streamers and people who aren't good people. These are people who, again, probably make a lot of money that they shouldn't really have, and I could get into like a bunch of other, things about that, but at the root of it is envy, and I think envy is a very poisonous emotion. So I guess that really should be purged, but it's difficult to do. It's something that's difficult for me to do that. And I've felt that way for so long about how it if anything causes me more anger, it's that. It's the random, haphazard, and overall not fair and not practical distribution of things. I think that's a good way to articulate it. Okay? It's that really bugs me, and so I do think there is a jealousy with that. There's a jealousy of, some people, and it's not even just, it's me personally, of course, but it's also collective, because I don't even know how good I would or wouldn't be with more or less time. And if I don't deserve it, then maybe I have what I deserve. you know? So it's definitely more of a collective where I know for certain there are people who deserve more wealth and other people who deserve way less, you know? And I'm sick of this arbitrary system of property that we have. It's not a good system. It's broken. It's there's something deeply wrong with it. And I don't really understand why not enough other people see that. And like the whole paradigm we're in of like property, I just think it's going to be seen as so archaic, like hundreds of years from now. It's going to be like just having wealth. It doesn't even matter, you know, like it really, really firmly doesn't even matter. I don't understand why you have, I just don't, you know, I don't know why people can't see through it. It's because like they themselves don't get it either. And freedom makes people feel comfortable, like extra money, ownership of things, it gives people a comfort. I think it's just way too abstract of an idea for people to imagine a society where you didn't have property, because that is the cornerstone of our society, you know, where you have autonomy over your property. But of course, the whole irony is that with that comes essentially a lack of autonomy, because, you know, now you end up dealing with, you know, certain people have it, there's disadvantages, there's advantages based on your generational wealth, and so it really isn't a free system, because that doesn't make any sense. You know, that is single-handedly it skews things to a different thing. I don't know. I don't know how else to say that. So, but that is something I guess I have to reconcile with, is like I really need to get locked into my life, which is something that has been very difficult for me to do for a long time. I think for a long time, you know, I get in this paralysis because I can't, like, it's like I see, oh, this is a career, it makes a lot of money. Okay, but it's immoral. Let's work on fixing it out of the system. And then so I didn't want to do it. It's like multiple, it's like accounting. Like I could have gone into accounting. I probably would have, could do very well doing that. But it's like, it's such a terrible thing. I mean, and I get it. I mean, people, they voluntarily do it. So how do you know, how much of a evil is it? But it's still evil. Like people should just know how to do their taxes, or taxes should be made much easier. There's no reason to have that as a thing. Like it's terrible, but nobody else thinks that far. They just think, oh, I'd be good at this, let me just do it. And so I've never been able to do that because I'm thinking about the bigger cause and effect. So that's been a big problem for me. But I do think, you know, not to terminate that thought process, because it's an incredible brain power thing. Like it's good that I have that as a trait. It's nothing to be upset about, but it does make life more difficult for me as my individual experiencing life through my lens. It makes things more difficult. The people who are fast thinkers, aggressive grabbers, they do really well. They do really well in this reality, even though what they're doing is in a lot of cases very immoral and probably generating a lot of really bad karma, is my, you know, hunch and assumption. That's really the gist of it. So, yeah, it's definitely stuff to think about, but I guess I really do need to work on myself. I don't think I'm as I something has changed in me where recently I am much less like ownership-esque. I just think it's like hit me so hard recently just how stupid it all is, all the possessions and stuff, and with such an indulgent 2025, I guess it's like, me looking at that in retrospect, I'm like, why did I even get all this stuff? Like, it's really, it's excessive, it's crazy, but, I think that there's always like a lesson to be had. There's always some kind of lesson to be had. I don't know. That's how I feel about it. But anyways, it's been Schlaw, but now it's time to buy Schlaw. So, see you, Schlaw.